Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we kept going with the Dark Eldar missions and we will continue on with that.
You are entering a Dark Eldar prison camp. You must be aware that you're going to witness the true depths of depravity these creatures are capable of.
The Emperor's will I carry will illuminate my way with blazing fire.
What happens if the Lord Commissar is dead?
I will avenge him.
So recently there was a sneak peek at a new Kill Team set, Kill Team Morok, which I don't play Kill Team. I want to. I think it's interesting. But as of now, I don't play it. But the set's pretty cool. It has a good amount of terrain. And it focuses on Primaris Marines. And then, actually, Renegade Guardsmen. Which I thought was very nice to see. And what's cool is the units you get. It's some old sprues from, I think it was the Rogue Traitor, or no, it was Blackstone Fortress. It was from the Blackstone Fortress set, but they added some new stuff, and there is a Chaos Ogryn, who actually has one of his arms is now mutated into a claw. Which I'm really happy for, because I've said before, I've wanted more Chaos Ogryns. And while this isn't exactly what I wanted, it is a good start. Because this is the kind of stuff I was hoping we would see, is some mutations and stuff like that. And they can, from here they can go further, you know. Do a flamer arm for Zinj, get a fancy noodly mouth, lamprey mouth kind of tentacle that shoots flames. For Khorne, thinking off some of the old Slaves to Darkness, I think it was, that book, they had a bunch of chaos mutations, and one I remember was, like, your face can become more of like a skull and the skin's really stretched, and you could have that for an Ogryn. You know, it becomes more like a bloodletter or bloodthirster's head.
You really think
And from there, you know, they get a bonus, or they can be kind of like Taurox and have brass skin. You know, get these cool effects that allow them to do a lot more and make some really interesting characters. And it would give a ton of customization to them. Slaanesh is the only one I can't really think of, because a lot of the mutations were like, you can create milk from your body that gives like a rage-inducing thing to allies if they drink it, and I'm like, that's just weird. I get it, it's Slaanesh, but it's just weird. It'd be kind of weird to have some Ogryn in the middle of a fight be like, "Come to my combat jugs," and dude's just grabbing on and getting a swig of Ogryn milk. It's weird, it's disturbing. It doesn't fit. But I'm pretty pleased that they're adding, you know, that Ogryn. Because it's just cool. I think you can do a lot with stuff like that. What I'd like to see, they'll never do it, is use... Okay, so this is a little bit of lore, a little bit of a hope here. The Obliterator virus. It is an affliction that occurs within Chaos Space Marines that makes them fuse with weapons and armor, and eventually they can start producing weapons from their body. It also makes them psychopaths. So, you know, kinda good, kinda bad. I think it'd be cool for Fabius Bile, let's say. Be like, oh, hey, yo, so I just made a weaker version of the Obliterator virus that we can give to some of our traitor guardsmen, some of our cultists, you know, and we just use it to cause some chaos. You know, give these guys a little bit of a hand when they're gonna do their inevitable rebellion, make some of their guys and some of their Ogryns fuse into their equipment and go crazy. It'll be great, it'll make them a little bit stronger, it might get them killed, it's worth a laugh. You know, sit there and introduce that. It's an interesting little way of, one, kind of bringing Obliterators back into significance, and it gives, honestly, every bit of chaos a new unit. Because I always find it weird when you see, like, chaos, like Traitor Marine, or not even Traitor Marines, Traitor Guardsmen, and they have demons. I always feel like even though they worship dark powers, I would assume that the second an actual demon pops up, they'd be like, oh, we didn't actually plan for this. This is actually terrifying. You know, that's the kind of response I would expect, is actual terror of, oh, we just thought this was kind of fake. You know, we knew we were kind of like when you see people being like, oh, I'll sell my soul to Satan. But they say they'll sell their soul to the devil, but the second, if the devil popped up, they'd probably be like, oh, I didn't realize you were actually a thing. You know, lip service and all that. That's what I would expect. And mutations, the thing there is, mutations, as much as they're chaos related, I feel like your average Imperial citizen would also be like, yeah, but we also work in, like, heavily irradiated work camps, and we have factories on Forge Worlds belching out fog and smoke that's probably not good for your lungs. You know, the chances of us turning into a 8-armed octopus man with, you know, 3 eyes is kind of something you just expect with the territory. Not exactly chaos, just kind of we live in a bad time. But that's just me. I figure that's kind of how they would play it, as opposed to being like, oh yeah, just demons. Oh hey, you know, Richard just exploded into a shower of gore and now there's a bloody demon standing where he was. Guess he's just with us for now. Hope we don't die. That's something I've noticed too in a lot of the books and stuff, is chaos cults are very... everyone is a full-blown fanatic. No one's just kind of along for the ride. And that's kind of funny, because even the new Kill Team miniatures, you have some of these guys that are all covered in skulls and all these unholy symbols and stuff. And then one of these dudes that you see just has like a spike on his shoulder, and that's his armor.
And what about Uncle?
The rest of his armor is just like, yeah, this is some normal guardsman armor. He didn't want to, you know, trick it out with someone's face attached to it or something.
Analysis of the warp signal.
And going with, like, the Chaos Guardsmen and stuff, we're also seeing new stuff for Chaos Knights, which is really cool. You know, they're actually getting proper support. But I'm still sitting here looking at, you know, Dark Mechanicus, going, hey, are we ever going to get new stuff for them, or are they just kind of done? The Chaos Knights are pretty cool, though. They're cool. They do feel like a little bit of a kit bash, though. Like, there's the Knight Abominant, which looks a lot like a standard, you know, big Imperial Knight, except he's got the kind of metallic tentacle arm of... You see it with some of the... God, I'm trying to think of the word. It's not the Dreadnoughts. Hellbrutes. That's what it is. He has like the Hellbrute kind of tentacle arm. And it's like, that's fine. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and complain too much, you know. Oh, why didn't they make brand new stuff for every unit? Nah, it's reasonable. It makes sense. I'm a little bummed just because seeing it on a smaller unit and it's just like, oh, it's the big version. I'm like, okay, I guess. It's not as neat. But it does its job, you know? Can't complain too much, can't complain too hard. It's still cool to finally have official Chaos Knights and stuff. It's about time. I mean, that could be what's kind of holding up Dark Mechanicus, is wanting to do a good job and properly figure out, like, okay, what units are getting what weapons, what traits, because they have stuff like the Negavolt cultists. I think they're cool.
These creatures are very consistent, even in their cruelty. Their cabals are waging constant battles amongst themselves, and the punishment for failure is worse than death.
They must be protecting something.
That would be my guess as well.
But so, that has to be it, now that I say that. They're probably kind of waiting and trying to get a good build up for all the AdMech stuff and trying to piece together, like, okay, what does a Chaos version of this look like? Can we even do a Chaos version of this? Because, like, Skitarii, you could do it, because in the end, they're in the same vein as, like, a Servitor. You know, it's just a mind-wiped, lobotomized human with a bunch of robot parts bolted to them. How do you make that chaosy? I mean, spiky parts? But that's about it. I feel like, as it stands, I would almost say make Dark Mechanicus the vehicle side of the vehicle side of Traitor Guardsmen, but you'd have to be more specific. I would almost go into specifics and say they're the Chaos Engine side. You know, you can have your standard vehicles that guardsmen get, or you can get the demonically infused stuff, and that's where Dark Mechanicum, whichever version you prefer, that's where they step in. That makes sense. It tracks. It works. Especially, that's the big thing, is it works. And it'd be cool. I remember one of their, I think it was the Heretic or whatever it was, Hellsmith, something like that. They were like a mechanical spider with like an actual bulbousy abdomen and thorax. And I was like, can we get that as like a vehicle? You know, a handful of those skittering around the battlefield, scooping dudes up, shooting webs to tie vehicles and dudes down. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be spooky as hell, and I love it. Now that I think about it, you know who hasn't really had anything new come out in a while? Tyranids. I think the problem is, how do you... Because Tyranids have a set visual style. How do you expand on it? Really, like... They're not buggy enough to go, oh, well, we'll just take a spider and make a giant spider. Well, they're not insectoid enough. Okay. Well, they're in such a weird spot you can't do much. And I feel like if you did add something new, you run the risk of it just looking so out of place. Like I said, spider. That wouldn't make sense in a lot of these. It'd be cool, I'll admit that. But I feel like it's just, you would have to start making, much like Chaos, much like everybody else, Hive Fleet specific units. Which I don't think would be a bad thing. Because like we've always had in tabletop, you can make your own Hive Fleet and just say they're an offshoot of an existing one. You know, you can say you have a offshoot of the Salamanders. You use their codex, but you build stuff how you want and look how you want.
What has happened to you, creature? Mission complete. I'm heading back.
Inquisitor, you have a...
Inquisitor.
Get this next part going. And we will call it here. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.